Ain't no how Steppin with Marcus J live from the Dead Legacy Internet Radio. Did y'all both just try to stop me from singing my PM Dawn?
Yes.
I was your amen corner.
There you go. Can I get a little song?
Well, I was the one-eyed deacon sitting in the amen corner.
Baby, you send me set adrift on memory bliss of you.
Okay, I know that this is completely unrelated to where we were going next.
She had to stop me.
But
what you got, girl?
Any local folks down with the infusion of craft donuts that we have?
You mean like
craft
maple?
donuts?
Craft donuts.
You mean like what do you mean craft?
Craft donuts?
Like the mayonnaise?
No, oh, God.
Oh, you mean like the maple
bacon?
Yeah.
Key lime pie.
Sugar
Shack. Last week I went to Sugar Shack. And I went up in there for one donut. And I came out with 4 donuts that I ate all in the same day.
Really?
But those donuts... That's a religion. You talking about a religious experience?
Is that a cult following?
She said talking about.
Yeah, you talking about, because I'm Southern, a religious experience.
Was you fitting to go get you another one?
I was fitting to.
Fitting or to?
Fitting to.
Uh-oh, that's even worse.
Ooh, yeah, okay. Now, moving right along, I just had to get in.
How you going to get on them donuts, though? How many have you had, though?
Just those 4.
But what kind? All right, so I've had the maple bacon. Mm-hmm. I've had the Oreo cluster.
I don't like Oreos. Okay, but go ahead.
That thing was the bomb. What was the other one I had? It was a butterscotch.
I had a butterbeer.
That's what it was.
What?
Butterbeer. Man.
I mean, that butterbeer make you want to throw up both your hands. Whew. And then I had a Samoa, which is like the Girl Scout cookie with the chocolate and the coconut and the caramel. And then I had a key lime pie that got like graham crackers crumbled up on top. And then I had...
Y'all both having a moment right now.
I mean, I'm just saying. And then I had one that had ribbons of chocolate with peanuts crumbled up. Okay, anyway. So I'm just saying, that was Sugar Shack. My next stop, I'm going to have to try, what's that other one? Country style? Duck donuts. Duck. It's a duck donut.
All right.
And then it's the country style.
Yo,
okay.
Calm down. All right. Country style is the one off Williamsburg Road, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Nothing like Krispy Kreme. And we're back.
All right.
We're back.
We took a moment.
I'm sorry.
Took a moment. So let's keep it moving right along. We're going to go from not in our house to this damn flag.
What flag would that be, Joseph?
That damn Confederate flag. And if I hear one person tell me that is honor, not hate, I'm going to smack the fire out of them. I mean that right now.
You ain't smacking nobody.
So, Joseph, you know how I feel about the Confederate flag?
How?
It's honor, not hate.
You know what?
I mean, where's that fire, bro? I just said you wasn't going to smack nobody.
You know what, though?
Only because you're going to tell mama.
Seriously?
Yeah, please don't smack. Please don't do that.
The Confederate flag, from a standpoint of I have the right to put whatever in my yard I want to, doesn't bother me.
Okay, well, who y'all is South Carolina?
You didn't let me finish.
No,
I'm not talking about government buildings, but we can't stop people from flying their Confederate flags.
You're right.
I don't think it should be on government buildings. I don't think it should be on government issued property, i.e. license plates. But if you want to fly it, let your freak flag fly. It doesn't bother me on that level because it's a symbol that you can personally fly in your own house or in your yard. As a matter of fact, let me know. I spend a lot of time on the road. So if I'm on 360 somewhere and my car break down.
Definitely going to see one.
Right. But if my car break down, I'm not going to come knock on your door if you got the Confederate flag. Help a sister out. Let me know.
Because it's what?
You're going to end up like that sister in Detroit with one between your eyes.
Exactly.
It's heritage.
Here's my deal with the Confederate flag. And, you know, we talked about this last week. We're going to talk about it tonight. We may talk about it again next week because it's in the news right now. The whole thing with the Confederate flag is the fact that when I see it, I immediately think of racism. You know, I immediately think of discrimination. I immediately think that the person who is waving that flag is showing me that they feel superior to me. Now, do I care that that's what you think? Of course I don't care that that's what you think. Now, we're in America. We have our own laws and rules here in America. I will give you a parallel. In Germany, the swastika is something that is illegal. You cannot display it publicly. You'll only see it in museums. Now, black people, and this is for you white folk, and this is for you black folk who like the Confederate flag, and for anybody who likes the Confederate flag. Let me just let you in a little secret. The average black person, when they see the Confederate flag, feels the way a Jewish person feels when they see a swastika. They just do. And you can give me this thing about you're honoring the soldiers and all of that kind of stuff. While I understand and know your history, yeah, I get all of that. But guess what? They were fighting for something. And what they were fighting for was the opportunity to hold on to their slavery. So while many of them fought with honor and valor, they were on the wrong side of history. And you are too, flag waver. Joe?
Yo, you know what? I just feel it's just something about that flag. Now, you know what makes it really bad? When I was younger, I used to watch the Dukes of Hazzard and love the General Lee. Wow.
I was going to do it, but she just beat me to it.
And you know what? I look at that orange car and I used to see that. And you know what? I didn't know any better and I didn't care.
You just like the show.
I just like the show. But think about it. The Duke boys was just as redneckish as any people down in Georgia.
You know what Boss Hogg's real name was?
No.
Jefferson Davis Hogg.
Yeah, Jefferson Davis.
But can you be a redneck without being a racist?
Absolutely.
Okay, just checking.
Oh, we had that debate before.
Absolutely.
Just checking.
But what is racist? See, if you're going to use that, then we're going to go back to Marcus J. and I had a conversation about this. And we said, well, what is race? Racist actually would mean what? That you have power?
The definition of racism basically suggests that there's some sort of power that goes along with your bigotry, meaning that you exert power over the person that you are bigoted against. So, bigotry is one thing. I don't like you because you're black. I don't like you because you're white. I don't like you because you're Jewish. I don't like you because you're Muslim. That's bigotry. But when you are in the position to legislate or hire or not hire, you can affect my life in some sort of way. That's what difference. That's the difference. That's what racism is. So people misappropriate the word, basically.
But, like you said, going back to this whole flag thing, I think they're misappropriating what this flag symbolizes. And even though I will agree with this point, the flag itself is a symbol. The flag itself has done me no harm, but the symbolism behind the flag, the feelings behind the flag, is what's giving me heartburn. The hate that people display when they display that flag, and you can sit here and tell me all day long that you don't have a racist or bigoted bone in your body, but guess what? If you don't at least acknowledge the concerns that I have behind the feelings that flag embraces, you're lying to me. I will say this though, at least I know that you're lying.
I say it to you like this, John Kim. I had this discussion with a trusted relative who said, it's just a flag. What's the big deal? This was what this person's position was. And if you're listening, you know who you are. Call us at 804-402-2893. And we can talk about it. You can even call in as anonymous. I'll know who you are. You don't have to, I won't, we won't even go there. But this person's position was that it's just a flag. What's the big deal? We need to tackle bigger things instead of worrying about a piece of cloth, I think is the phrase that this person used. The response that I had to that was I gave him a very, very brief analogy. I said, I tell you what. Let's say you drove your car down the street and you wrecked it. The whole front end is smashed, the airbags blew out, everything's all messed up. You ain't got no insurance, but you have a car that's now wrecked. And so the tow truck driver is going to tow that car to your house and sit in front of the door. And guess what you get to do every time you walk out your house and walk in your house? You get to look at your wrecked car. And what are you going to do every time you see it? You're going to remember the fact that you used to have a car. You don't want that car sitting there no more. you want it gone because you don't want those memories of what you felt and what you was going through when you lost that car. And you can kind of use the Confederate flag in the same mindset for many of us in our community. The sight of it represents bigotry, racism, discrimination, slavery, pain, death, and all of those negative things that come with that time in our history. And, I was talking to Mom's Jay about this as well. I'm going to have her on the show one day, have her talk to you guys about this because she's of an age that she remembers this. She remembers seeing it, I find it difficult for many people to not understand how it will make a person feel that is versed on history. When you tell us all the time, do the history, understand what that flag was, learn about it. If you can tell us all of those kinds of things, and I come back to you with my own personal analysis of it, then we don't need to be talking about this no more because you already know how I feel. I know of at least one person who can't stand that damn flag, and she did something about it. Which y'all know about that shit, about that sister.
Are you talking
Miss Bree?
I'm talking about Miss Bree.
What did she do?
Miss Bree was.
Did she scale that pole?
I guess maybe she did.
Yeah.
That's one sister on the pole that I can respect.
I ain't mad at it.
Because she said it was time.
So what do y'all know about Bree? What y'all know about Miss Bree?
I know that I believe was it Saturday?
Saturday, I believe.
Miss Bree went up that pole at the South Carolina government building and took it down. She said it was time. She was not going to wait. So down came the flag.
Basically, you got Bree Newsome. She's an activist. She's 30 years old. She's a youth organizer in Charlotte. She climbed that flagpole before 6 a.m. and took it down. She took down the flag. Of course, she got about halfway up. It's a 30-foot pole. Police demanded that she climb back down. She continued to go up. When they saw her, she continued to go up, even though they were telling her to come down. There were some that were there that spoke to the media and said that when she returned to the ground, she and James Ian Dyson, which was her, I don't know if accomplice is the word we want to use, but her partner, her compadre, they were arrested by Capitol Police and taken to a detention center. A spokesperson for the State Department of Public Safety, Sherry Iacobelli, she told the Associated Press that Newsome and Tyson, also of Charlotte, had been charged with defacing monuments on state capitol grounds, which is a misdemeanor that carries a fine up to $5,000 and a prison term up to 3 years or both. There's more. Obviously, Joe, if you found any more you want to add, or Kim, but.
Well, I'm just curious.
I want to talk about Bree.
I want to figure out what this monument was that they defiled. Because really, the only thing they did was climb a flagpole and took down a flag.
Okay, well, if we're just talking about, legal terms, I mean, you can't go climb a pole and take down the flag. You can't climb a pole and take down the American flag. You can't take down the state flag. So this flag is something
Don't I pay taxes?
You can go on down to the Capitol and climb a pole.
Damn that flag.
And see what's going to happen to you. But
Well, first of all, I'm
just
that
saying.
fat dude who can't climb that pole.
Well, this is true. But
Hey, I know your limits.
she was making a stand, and that I can appreciate in the vein of, some of the great quote unquote freedom fighters that we've already had who took a nonviolent stance to get something done when it needed to get done. And she said that she did it, not only because it just needed to come on down in memory of our ancestors, but also because of the ongoing violence against black folks in 2015 and brown people in general within the African diaspora. Look at what they're doing in the Dominican Republic to the Haitians right now. So she was making a move of solidarity and making a statement. I don't think she went up that pole thinking somebody won't go come tell her to get down.
Oh, she
I
knew
mean,
Yeah, she had to.
she
had to know.
she wasn't surprised.
Our brother Hakeem is listening to us. Hakeem in Jersey City. He's saying what up to the crew.
What up?
Saying what up to yours truly. He's shouting out our sister SY. If she was here, she would say shout out to you too, Hakeem. 502 baby. That's a shout out to your man Kate Up. He is saying that does it matter? And I want you guys to answer this. Does it matter that it is not the original flag? Does that not change one's perspective or stance? He thinks that it belongs in a museum.
I don't think it changes the symbolism of what the Confederate flag is. I agree that it belongs in a museum. And I mean, just think about it. The Confederacy was basically a group of states that seceded. They decided that they did not want to be a part of our more perfect union anymore. And so they packed up their little stuff and they left. Take my toys, I'm going home. Now, in any other country, when a regime is defeated, you don't get to pull your flag back out.
Yeah, you don't get to pull that out. It's a wrap.
I mean, so if we want to look at it in those terms, the Confederacy was a regime that was put down. And so you don't get to put your stuff back on. And I know we have people that still dress up and reenact wars and battles and all of these things. Ironically, I have a Caucasian friend who participates in Civil War reenactments.
They on the north or south?
And well, the funny thing is that I met her in college and we were friends. And it wasn't until I graduated. One day I sat down and I thought about that thing and I had to call her up and I said, you know what? I need to know something. I need to know it right now. When you go and put on your petticoats and you reenacting, what side you reenacting for?
What she said?
She said, "Oh, the North." I said, "Then you all right with me?" I just had to go ahead and clarify that and make sure.
I'm gonna need you to double check and then maybe do a little light stalking of her next reenactment.
I don't think I'm gonna show up at no Civil War battlefield with my brown self.
Do a little light stalking here and see.
But you know what? What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and expecting different results.
Yeah. So and you keep reenacting something you lose to.
But one of the points that I did make last week in one of my own personal Facebook posts about the Confederate flag is something that I don't want us to lose sight of. Regardless of how you feel about it, there are bigger issues that we need to be discussing and we need to be working on. And so that was my initial issue with this whole let's get the flag down debate, because it was taking up media time. It was taking up activism time. It was taking up protesting time when our sons are still being murdered in the streets and we are deporting folks that are from certain countries. And so I just didn't want us to lose sight of the fact.
Well, here's my response to that, because that same family member who I had mentioned earlier made that point. And my response to that person was, if we as a community did what we were supposed to do, then we would have enough people that we can tackle all of these problems and not only have a singular focus on one issue. And I think that's where we are deficient as a community.
I agree.
Because we ain't doing what we're supposed to be doing. And to kind of go back just real quick on your homie who's doing the reenactments, for those folks who see no problem with the reenactments, I will ask you this. Do you ever see people doing reenactments of the American Revolution? Do you see people doing reenactments of the War of 1812? Do you see people doing reenactments of World War I or II or the Korean War, Vietnam, or anything like that? No. You just see people doing reenactments of the Civil War. And what is the deal with that? There's only one thing that I can come up with. These are the take our country back people. These are the people who want it to be back the way it used to be. And I'm sorry, it ain't going down like that. It's just not, because you got enough people in power who won't let it, and you got enough people who are not in power who will protest if those people in power wanted to let it.
But it's not going down like that to the degree of we're not going to be put back into slavery, but in some ways it is going down like that. When you look at the prison industrial complex, when you look at education and the state of it in America, when you look at the unemployment rates and the disparities of those with black men and other races, in some ways it is definitely going down like that, because economic poverty is the new slavery.
Right. Hakeem is still listening, Kim, and he says that he's digging how you're breaking it down. So you got a fan in Hakeem.
Got a fan. What's up, homie? What's up?
Fan in our brother Hakeem, representing my hometown of Jersey City, New Jersey. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the den of Legacy Internet Radio. We are the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio, heard right here every single Monday night at 7 p.m. We thank everybody that's listening to us on TuneIn, everybody that's listening to us on Legacy Internet Radio right now, as well as our replays on YouTube. If you want to be a part of the discussion, call us at 804-402-2893. That is, in fact, the number to dial. You know, as I'm sitting here, you know, listening to this discussion on the Confederate flag, you know, I don't want to kind of talk it to death, but I don't think that it's one of those things that can be talked to death, because I think it's important that we open the minds and we enlighten those folks who may not know what we know. And I think for those folks who think that it's not that big of a deal, you know, I remind you that symbolism is a big deal. Everything about this country is about symbolism. We got a freaking eagle that is part of our, you know, our country, and stars and stripes. And what do those stars and stripes stand for? They stand for something. There's symbolism for the stars, and there's symbolism for the stripes. There's symbolism for the flag. And so don't tell me that it doesn't mean anything. Don't tell me that the symbolism doesn't mean anything, and don't tell me that, you know, it's not important for us to talk about. And so I want to go back to this Bree Newsome person, because of the stones that it would take for any person, male or female, to defy the police department, a black person, to climb up the pole in South Carolina to pull down a flag, of the Confederate flag, in a state that has already made it plain how they feel about, you know, history, and it's already flying at the Capitol, and knowing the climate is the same place where the brother Walter Gray, I believe, or Walter Scott is his name, yeah, you know, was just killed by the police, shot in the back just a few weeks ago. And, you know, the climate of, you know, black people being, you know, mistreated by the police in our country. If she's someone who's going to climb that pole, then she's someone that knows all that stuff. She's already well versed in all that stuff. And the, you know, I don't want to say nerve, but I would say courage is probably a better word, that it would take for any person, male or female, to climb up that pole and not know what the consequence would be once she got up there to do that, and then once she got back down to the ground. Man, I'm so proud of this sister and the step that she took, because so many of us today, you know, in 2015 are so about ourselves, and so, you know what, you know, that's a good cause, but, you know, I ain't trying to mess up my situation. You know, I ain't trying to go to jail because then this will happen and that'll happen and this will happen. Our parents' generation never thought about that. Right. Because they knew that there was a bigger prize at the end. So they went and they did what they had to do. And Bree Newsome, to me, is a direct descendant to that kind of thought process, because I don't want to say she didn't care, but she really didn't care. It was more about what needed to get done.
You know, South Carolinian police officers have proven that they just soon shoot you as look at you. So she was taking her life into her hands when she climbed that pole.
She darn sure did. I mean, like you said, you climb that pole with every thought that, guess what, this could be the last pole that I actually climb. And I don't mean that in
no jest. Pun intended.
Yeah, I didn't mean that in jest.
Like I said, that's a sister on the pole I got a lot of respect for.
And, you know, she said that I did it for all the fierce black women on the front lines of the movement, and for all the little black girls who are watching us. I did it because I am free.
That's what she said.
Wow. That's what she said.
I mean, I don't know.
I had to go back now. If, you know, it makes me feel some kind of way
that a woman did,
that a sister took the initiative, that me as a black man, we have not taken.
Well,
we have got to stand up, and we have got to put ourselves back out there where we're supposed to be, and that's in the front of the line. Not in the back of the line and putting your head down, worried that you might get shot, which you think about. But this sister sit here and put herself on the line. She made a point, and she called out every black quote unquote man that's out here right now.
Yeah, no, I can dig it. I mean, when I look at somebody like what she did, and the strength and the power that it took. You know, I don't think that I'm overstating it by saying these things, because of the risk, like you said, Kim, that she took. And as a sister, I'm sure that you can relate to her on that level. Mm-hmm. But when you look at historically the sisters who took chances with their lives, you can look at Sojourner Truth, you can look at Harriet Tubman, you can look at Rosa Parks. They were not thinking about if I get caught, this is what's going to happen. They had each gotten to a point in their lives that they had had enough.
They had took all they could took, and they won't gonna took no more.
Well, I agree with all of them, but one. Rosa just said Aint.
But you know, and I heard it said today on a radio show. I'm not even sure what I was listening to, but they said, you know, we would not have had a movement if it had not been for a black woman. Period. From Harriet to Rosa. Maybe all she did was sit down on the bus, but you know what? When your feet hurt, your world ain't right. So
you said the whole thing.
I mean,
was that an inadvertent movement?
No, she was very aware of where she was and what she was doing. Now, I don't know if she was aware that the movement would spin out of that.
Okay.
Although she was already involved in the NAACP, I don't think that there was a secret backroom meeting that said, Rosa, tomorrow I want you to go and sit on that bus, and no matter what they do, I don't want you to get up. No, I don't think that happened, but I don't think she was ignorant of the possibilities.
No, there was precedent. I mean, there was a teenage.
She wasn't the first. That's right.
There was a teenage pregnant girl
That's
right here
right.
in Virginia who had done the same thing, but the NAACP decided to not put her out into the forefront because she was teenage pregnant.
Right.
You know, so I can't say that Rosa knew that her stance would be the impetus for the civil rights movement on November 1st, 1955. But I think what you said, Kim, basically says it all when you said that when your feet hurt, your world ain't right. And she had enough.
Yeah.
That day had come when she was like, look, man, y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do, but I'm not getting up.
But I'm going to sit right here.
I'm gonna sit right here and y'all do what y'all gonna do, but my feet hurt.
She said, not in my house.
She said, not in my house. But you know, I also think it's really important that we certainly applaud Ms. Newsome, but let's not forget that she's a community activist, and this was a group effort. The group decided that it would be her, and the group decided that the person who would help her over the fence would be a white male. So, you know, let's not forget that even though he didn't climb the pole, he was there, and he got arrested too.
Well, we've gone into the discussion because we also know that if it wasn't for those white activists who actually, some of them gave their lives,
right,
then we would not be able to move forward today.
Everybody needs friends.
Everybody needs friends. We would not be sitting here right now on Legacy Internet Radio if it wasn't for those people who gave their lives, who put themselves out there. What I will say, to your point, and I applaud the group, but ain't nobody climbed that pole.
But Bree Newsome.
But Bree Newsome.
This is true.
Hakeem is still listening. Hakeem is saying, I'm getting his comments in. He said that he was just talking to a friend of his about the same thing. He thinks that Bree Newsome is bigger than Rosa. He thinks that Rosa was actually a poser. He actually thinks that there was definitely a backroom meeting that said, Rosa, don't get up. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial if you want to be part of the discussion. Hakeem, I encourage you to call in on that one because I'm not sure I follow you or agree with you on that one. But hey, everybody's, you know, we are welcome here. So call us up and we can talk about that, or continue to communicate with me the way you're communicating with me now, and I'll get your comment in and we can kind of go in and out on that. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial.
Well, you know, I'm going to go back to what Hakeem was saying, and I'm thinking that, and what I'm thinking is, you know, that Rosa was a lighter skinned sister too.
Don't even go there.
Yeah, you know, I'm just saying, because it's still, and you can look at me sideways, but I'm just saying, you have to think of the mindset of the people that you were dealing with, and what they're trying to structure to get it to where it was. How much, what would have really happened if it would have been a true
brown woman
in relation to Rosa, who was, you know, Rosa was fair skinned.
You know, and you know that I feel some kind of way about that, and that's why you brought it up right before the break. But we might get into that when we get back.
I'm not one that subscribes to the Rosa was a setup thing. light skin and all of that kind of stuff. I just, if she was, I mean, I'm one of those people. I will absolutely be the first to say, hey, I was wrong. Most people won't do that. I know that I will because I've done it. I've done it on this show and I've done it in my personal life. So if someone shows me wrong, then I'll say it. I don't think I'm wrong on this one. Hakeem thinks that it was a setup. There were others, but they didn't move. The NAACP secretary's actions got movement. That doesn't sound coincidental to you. But that's what he thinks on that one. I just respectfully disagree. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. We're gonna take another break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a whole lot more trash about a whole lot more stuff. Donald Trump is in the news, and he said something that was interesting, but it was more what he didn't say that I want to talk about.
Donald Trump said something interesting?
It was, like I said, it was more what he didn't say that I want to talk about, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in these black churches. A lot of them are mysteriously going up in smoke, and I got that debate question that I'm still going to ask y'all. So we got a lot to get into. And a long lost family member just walked in the door that we're going to introduce on the other side. You know how Steppin, Marcus J. Be back.